KDE Plasma carries forward the message of a traditional desktop, a conceptual philosophy that dates back to the early GUIs. These developed with windows, icons, and panels arranged in a simple and intuitive way. Traditionally, a horizontal panel with a menu accessible via a central button located at the left end of the panel is the norm. Windows and Macintosh have adopted this arrangement for decades. Saying that KDE is a copy is laughable. The ability to offer a familiar environment has only advantages. A new user approaching Linux might find fewer difficulties using KDE rather than GNOME. The choice to follow this traditional concept while integrating cutting-edge elements is appreciable and makes KDE loved by many users. I've used KDE since version 2.x and have experienced all its evolutions. At the heart of this concept is the idea of offering the user a vast range of customizations and functions, even in the smallest details. I don't think there is a desktop environment that offers such a variety of solutions among those I've tried. With KDE, you can change everything. Every single aspect of the interface is available to the user. This represents a form of profound respect for users, but it is also KDE's biggest problem. Rationalizing, harmonizing, and making such a wide range of features intuitive is an arduous, if not impossible, challenge. It is much simpler to eliminate everything and focus on what is strictly necessary. Even in this case, it's a matter of ideas and how the desktop environment concept is thought out, but we cannot ignore this fact when expressing judgments. Don't you think it's a fair attitude? It's like two friends making a bet. One pretends to climb 10 steps in 10 seconds, the other to go to the moon in 15 years. Let's move on to the review, which was conducted using real installations for over a month on OpenSUSE and Endeavour OS. Neon and Fedora were tested in virtual machines, but the difference is minimal. Plasma 6 is beautiful, there's no doubt. This is an objective fact. An artistic language consistent with its functions, adopts a modern design with clean lines and a coherent visual aspect. This includes the use of flat colors and light shadows to create depth without weighing down the interface. The use of materials such as transparency and blurring is common in KDE Plasma, offering a sense of lightness and modernity. These effects are visible in the panels, menus, and windows, improving the overall aesthetics. The icons are detailed, with uniform styles that follow the design guidelines. This contributes to a harmonious and easily recognizable visual aspect. Look at this screenshot. This is art. Beyond the purely aesthetic aspect, in my experience, this desktop environment stands out significantly for its responsiveness and resource consumption, being markedly better than GNOME. It is important to note that GNOME is already a fairly responsive system, but Plasma manages to take this feeling to a higher level. When I use KDE, whether opening files, managing windows, or transitioning animations, I perceive an incredible immediacy. Operations happen smoothly and instantly, making interaction with the desktop extremely pleasant and productive. The animations are smooth and fast, without causing delays or slowdowns. This contributes to creating a user experience that is not only visually pleasing but also extremely efficient in terms of performance. The system's lightness and resource optimization ensure that Plasma 6 can run smoothly even on less powerful hardware, still offering a high-quality user experience. Wow. Well, now get ready. KDE Plasma 6 is a young, immature project that will require years of work and refinement to be polished and made pleasantly and immediately usable. I hope the development team focuses not only on adding new improvements, but especially on doing a work of labor lamai. In the video, I poke fun at a KDE developer using clips from his videos, but in reality, I follow and appreciate him for his videos, so I also recommend you do so if you haven't already. I hope Nico doesn't take it badly. After all, he who lives by the sword, dies by the sword. The concept of Plasma 6 is developed within its horizontal panel, where elements such as menus, activity navigators, tray icons, and notification areas known as plasmoids can be inserted. These plasmoids are numerous, versatile, and well-crafted, allowing for high customization and enhancement tailored to each user's specifications. However, I haven't quite figured out why I can't remove an icon from the panel with a single click. Perhaps I still need to understand how it works. All modifications in this area are made by entering the desktop edit mode, where you can customize the panel, style, and add plasmoids. Although I find it quite charming, it can be somewhat cumbersome. With this new version of the desktop environment, the user experience has been further enhanced, especially the desktop effects. Through the management of hot corners, you can get an overview of open applications, a desktop grid view, or a desktop cube view. The usability provided by the right balance of these opportunities is exceptional, but it requires time and, above all, familiarity with the configurations of desktop effects, which are numerous and somewhat illogically organized. We'll delve into this later. The arsenal of applications is enormous. The KDE suite is not just a desktop environment, but a whole series of applications, ranging from multimedia players like Dragon Player to video editors like Kdenlive and email managers. Applications can be found and installed using Discover, KDE's default app manager. Unfortunately, the core apps officially supported and developed by KDE are not prominently highlighted in the application manager, making them difficult to find for those unfamiliar with them. Dolphin, the file manager, represents the state-of-the-art in file management. It is pure stylistic elegance, with a perfect integration of countless functions that never overwhelm the user. Truly delightful and astonishing. Desktop search performed by Crunner leaves no room for criticism, though the application itself is somewhat hidden, launched with Alt F2 or Alt Space. Its functionalities are integrated into the menu, allowing for deep searches within your system. KDE requires time to be properly appreciated. Many functions you are looking for are there, and there are features you didn't even know about. The knowledge comprises hundreds, if not thousands, of small discoveries made by using the desktop or seeking information. It is definitely not a ready-to-go desktop with automatic settings, even though it has a traditional configuration and is extremely advanced. If you give it the necessary time, you will discover a powerful tool that adapts to your needs, whatever they may be. The beating heart of KDE is its control system. And perhaps this is where I would start with my 10 points for improving KDE Plasma 6.
The one that saves me. Gonna be the one that saves me. You're gonna be the one that saves me. Yes, save.
In system settings, did you know that? You didn't. You didn't.
Honestly, guys, I say this with all my heart. You need to focus on improving KDE Plasma's control center. Currently, it's an eyesore, a drunkenness, a dizziness. There are just too many options. I don't think these should be eliminated, but they need to be reviewed, repositioned, and made more natural and intuitive. For example, please explain to me why the menu to manage the desktop borders to activate graphical effects is in the mouse section. In the mouse section? Does this make sense? Is there any logic? Put that damn menu in an area dedicated to managing graphic effects. The average user expects to find the function to modify the desktop borders in the section dedicated to graphic effects. In his small head of a poor average user, he will look high and low for this function in the desktop effects management. Come on guys, you can do better. This is just an example, but if you want, I can continue listing thousands of little things that make me depressed just thinking about opening the control center. To be or not to be, that is the question that intellectuals and ordinary humans have been asking for millennia. The activities function is wonderful. I love it. You can set up different desktop profiles with various customizations and navigate around them. Brilliant. Too bad finding this function in the maze of your settings is almost impossible. And once found, it doesn't explain how it works when you click the Help button. Help, indeed. The same goes for Crooner. Yes, I know the menu has the same functions, so why not eliminate it? I was happy to see so many options when I tried to set an image as wallpaper. The image viewer is well designed, but it would be even better if there was a simple and intuitive set as desktop background option. This would be a small but valuable improvement that could be applied in other situations as well. The floating panel is pure ecstasy. Why can't you make it float permanently? That panel reverting to normal mode might sound as a metaphor of Flight of Icarus in using your desktop. I feel like I'm in front of the control panel of a Boeing 767, and this can't be a criticism, as it's precisely a matter of basic concept. However, every setting of every application is multifunctional, truly complex. I believe it requires more time to be studied and appreciated by the end user. Sometimes it's too much. Some graphic choices made me frown. The blue selection of windows in overview mode isn't nice, nor is that red icon for closing. I find it unaesthetic and really garish. Even the small icon showing the microphone symbol above the application indicator, oh my, it's ugly.
Create a new version of KDE, taking off half of the options, like half of them, like that. And by doing that, I guess reaching 50% more stability, which raises a lot of questions. Like, first of all, how do you measure stability? And also, do you really think that just by taking off options, you'll get 50% more stability? That's not how it works, believe me. And then just let people vote for which version they prefer. This sounds, I'm gonna tell you, like a plot. You're gonna be the one that saves me.
The KDE Plasma menu, Kickoff, is one of the most important components of the desktop experience. Here too, there are considerations to be made. The menu's performance is good, but it could be improved. The layout and organization of the entries could be reviewed to make it more intuitive and easy to navigate. Perhaps you already have a quite nice alternative menu available among the widgets. Maybe you can start from that point. Maybe.
You know that. You didn't. You didn't.
The suite of officially supported KDE applications isn't highlighted or promoted in the Discover Application Manager. If a user wanted to choose a calendar, they would find 100 options, but not the most natural and supported one for the desktop. Here too, things should be rationalized. Grid overview, cube. Speaking of cubes, why can't I rotate it with the mouse wheel? And the same goes for moving between desktops in overview mode. Maybe I didn't find the option in the control center. Plasmoids, panel applets, there's a lot of stuff. But agree with me that your desktop is rich enough with things, complex, it needs to be studied. Creating a proper tutorial guide starting from the basics and ending with the most complex would not be a bad idea. No Nico, no pop-up messages to tell the user how it works. This is the very demonstration of a failure, and KDE is not that at all. With Dolphin, you've literally created a masterpiece. Simplicity, immediacy, and the power of the offered solutions are balanced and available when necessary, and somehow hidden when not needed. The interface is clean, elegant, and straight to the point. A true masterpiece. I would apply the same principles to the KDE Plasma Control Center. Currently, the Control Center navigation system is not suitable. There are too many functions, and you literally get lost inside. I propose adopting a tree concept with the 9 main sections arranged as icons. Don't you think this would be cleaner, more intuitive, and less abominable for the end user? Clicking on each section should open a sub-branch showing the available options. For example, if I click on a section that requires opening a specific window, like wallpapers, it should open a secondary window dedicated to choosing wallpapers. If I select Colors and Themes, the appropriate submenu should expand, and clicking on one of the options would open a second window with the relevant function. This choice desensitizes and somewhat detaches functions from the main branch, giving more simplicity and overall immediacy. KDE Plasma has enormous potential, but to reach full maturity, it's crucial to improve the organization and usability of the control center. A more logical and intuitive user interface will not only enhance the experience for existing users, but also attract new users who might find the system more accessible and easy to use. Keep innovating, but don't forget to refine and simplify. The future of KDE Plasma is bright, and I'm sure that with the right commitment, you'll be able to create a desktop environment that not only meets but exceeds the expectations of all users. Oh, and please, remove the desktop borders from the input section, I beg you. It seems like a merciless critique. Does nothing work in KDE? Menu control system, too many functions, chaos. Calm down. It's a potentially devastating graphical system that, if perfected, would position itself as a benchmark for all other graphical environments. Excellent performance, stunning interface, practically unlimited functions, and customization options. We need to look at things in perspective. It's a fresh project. The simple mock-up I presented by goofing around for 2 hours with GIMP would require years of work and testing by a dozen developers, I believe. It's easy to talk and criticize, but we must consider a whole series of aspects that users generally don't think about. KDE Plasma 6, I like it a lot. It's not my default desktop environment, but it has the potential to become one, and I think many users appreciate it for the reasons mentioned above. I also believe that many of you agree that a profound cleaning and rationalization work needs to be done without getting bogged down in a state of continuous development. Give yourselves a year and focus on listening to users as I know you do, and implementing what you have. KDE Plasma, nothing is more necessary than the superfluous.